Good evening. I wanted to take a moment to talk to you a little bit about peace and what does peace look like during this time when we are at war with COVID 19. First of all, take a deep breath. It is what it is. We're in this situation. There's nothing we can do to change it at the moment. And what there is to do is to literally be like a willow tree in the wind and move and flow and ebb and flow with it. What I recommend is starting to see both sides of the story, starting to understand as much as we can, even though we're not experts. So I know for myself, the frustration I have is which news is real? Is it Fox? Is it CBS? Is it the newspaper? Is it your friend that's talked to a surgeon? Or another friend that knows people at universities, that knows people in the pandemic offices, that knows people anywhere. All of the information has some truth and has some falsehood. Why do I say that? Because in everything in life, there's a little falsehood, there's a little truth. Why? Because in retelling of a story, we're never able to capture it exactly accurate. Therefore, we have to make judgments and assessments along the way based on what we think is the best information that we have and come to a sense of peace where we can rely on that, agree with that, and then stand in that place of understanding and being present with, being agreeable with that point of view. Does that make everybody else wrong? Not necessarily. It makes other people have a different point of view. They have their place for facts, and they may not be the same as yours. May not be as good as yours. Does that mean that we go to war over it? That we get mad at each other? That we take out and lose friendships over it? I say to you, no. When I've had people come to me with situations where there are partnerships that are dealing with difficult situations, and one partner says this, another partner says this, another partner says this. And funnily enough, none of them say the same thing. We all see things differently. We all see things through the filters of our own life, our own life experiences, our own experiences that color the way that we see things. And also our environment at the time. Are we happy? Are we sad? Are we confronted? Are we stressed? Have we had friends die from COVID 19? Have we had family members die? What are the things that are impacting us in the moment that also color the information that we get? So, as you can see, there are a lot of variables. There are a ton of variables in creating opinions about things. And this is where war starts. War between friends, war between relatives, war between couples. It starts with the disagreement and misinterpretation, misunderstanding, hurt feelings, hurt egos, frustrated feelings, frustrated egos. All of these things color and impact us in our day to day life. Okay, a lot of you that are listening are probably like, great, Les. Now tell me something new. Here's what I think is new: find balance. Find balance. What does that look like? Well, yesterday and the day before, I spoke about being in another person's world. Prior to that, it was about body language. Prior to that, speaking. Prior to that, being present. And prior to that, listening. Balance to me is using all of those skills of communication and then finding a place where we are comfortable with our point of view. Now, does that make us right and other people wrong? No. That's the tough part. In most of our opinions, there's moral and ethical concerns. There's what I call integrity and workability. So when COVID first happened, I was like, come on, let's just move on. Let's just have life continue the way it is. There will be some people, maybe even me, that die. And that view for me was very selfish. And I see that from the aspect of who am I? One, I could carry the virus, never know it, give it to somebody, and they die. Now, did I give them a choice? I said I have a choice and I don't care. They may care. Based on my action, though, based on what I did and how I did it, if I chose to break the rules, I put them at risk and maybe even gave it to them and they died. Now, some people look at that and go, well, if they died, that's God's will. No, it, yes, it is. All of it is God's will. I'm suggesting a personal level of responsibility. Does that mean cloistering myself? Never going out? No. You're allowed to go out to get groceries. You're allowed to go for walks. You're allowed to do some physical exercise. The idea is to stay physically distant. Notice I say physically distant, not socially distant. Social distancing carries an emotional weight with it. That emotional weight creates a headache for people. It leaves people unfulfilled. It leaves people troubled. It leaves people frustrated. Physical distancing then can be used to say, look, if we're within 6 feet of physical distance, we run a higher risk. Therefore, 6 feet works. Now you'll see that in a lot of grocery stores, that isn't maintained. People overlook it. People get frustrated. And then there are people that are so much rule followers that they get mad at the situation. They get mad at humanity. They get mad at the situation in the stores. And they are miserable because of it. As we near the end of tonight, I want to give you a challenge. My challenge is using all of the communication techniques, being responsible for your opinion and the impact it might have on others. My request for you is to look and see, is your choice impacting another in a positive or negative way? I want to hear your comments. Read this. Share. What showed up for you? What side of the fence are you on? Do we go back to work? How are we going to go back to work? What's going to happen? How's it going to evolve? Stay tuned. Tomorrow we're going to talk about another sensitive topic. I look forward to working through some of these topics with you. And I thank you for listening. I appreciate you. God bless and have a good night.